Hello everyone, happy Tuesday. This is Dr. Indrani Raman. I'm the founder and owner of Excel Health MD. I'm coming to you again live today. We are going to continue our discussion about intermittent fasting and the frequently asked questions in our practice at Excel Health MD, where we promote low carb and keto diet along with intermittent fasting. We have had a lot of success with many of our clients who did this, and so I thought I will share this knowledge with all of you from the experiences we had. Our motto here is don't wait till sickness, start wellness today. So if you're joining us today, please go back and look at the video that we did, that I did last Tuesday for the starting points for intermittent fasting. To summarize that briefly, intermittent fasting has been around for thousands of centuries. It is not starvation. It's more like a time-restricted eating, and it has been shown to have many benefits. It also promotes weight loss, especially when added with keto and low carb diet. So, and then there are so many benefits with it, including improving the insulin resistance, weight loss. It also promotes autophagy and cellular cleansing. And it also has been, there are more studies showing there's more benefits probably in terms of longevity also, and even autoimmune diseases. I want to clarify again, these lives and educate, this is all for our education purpose. I'm not giving any medical guidance here. If you want to see us personally, please come to my office and make an appointment. I would be happy to help you and get you started. So for today, if you're just joining us, tell me what's your favorite vegetable to eat, and go ahead and post it in the comments. I would love to know what you guys all are eating and what do you like. My favorite vegetable, I would say, is tomatoes, and I can eat them in all sort of different ways, in the salad, cooking, Indian style, curry, and all those stuff. So share with me yours too. Now, as I had mentioned in the brief outline that I had given for today's topic, the 5 questions that I'm going to address are also the most very commonly asked questions about intermittent fasting. So here we go. Let's see. My first question is, can everyone do intermittent fasting? So yes, intermittent fasting, it's safe for almost everybody. The only people I would say should be careful or at least do under medical supervision are people with diabetes, especially type 1 diabetics, if they are on insulin, and type 2 diabetics also if they're on insulin and any medications that can drop their blood sugar. So they can still do it, and in fact it can even help reversing diabetes for type 2 diabetes if they can do intermittent fasting and long-term fasting. It also can help improving their insulin resistance. So definitely, as carefully guided, everybody can do it. The people, for now it is not recommended to do is for anybody who's pregnant, and also anybody who's breastfeeding, and also kids, anybody age less than 16 years of age or so, it is generally not recommended to do fasting. And anybody who has a history of eating disorders, especially who's been known history of anorexia, we do not want to exacerbate that condition. And also anybody whose BMI is already low, the body mass index, if it is less than 21 or so, then not recommended to add fasting because it can make them lose more weight. So those are the only certain populations I would say it's definitely not encouraged to do any fasting. And the next question: are there any safety concerns with fasting? So fasting is generally safe for everybody, especially if you are doing like 14-16 hours a day and eating within the 8-hour window. It is generally very safe. There is no issues or any concerns with it. The only concerns are when you do more of a long-term fasting. The long-term fasting would be when you do more than 24 hours or even 36 hours and beyond. The concerns would be mainly about low blood pressure, especially if this is new for them and if they are doing longer term. And this can all be fixed very easily, kind of keeping yourself hydrated, and even using the Himalayan pink salt for it. And the other concern would be low blood sugar, if especially if you're on medication for diabetes or so. So if you're just joining me now, guys, please go ahead and post in the comments about what's your favorite vegetable to eat. And we are discussing the frequently asked questions on intermittent fasting here. So in general, the side effects or the concerns would be when they're doing long-term fasting, but otherwise just low blood sugar and low blood pressure. And some people can sometimes feel nauseous if they're doing extended fasting. And I've noted that some people have also some trouble falling asleep if you're doing a longer term fasting, more than 24 hours or so. That can be a concern, but nothing major otherwise. All right, the next question, number 3. What is the best way to manage hunger while fasting? So here I am going to be starting sharing my slides here. I hope you can see it. Let's take a look here to the stream. Okay. So I hope this is going okay and you're able to see this. So this is the best way to manage hunger while fasting. I keep getting asked this all the time. I tell people you need to start with the preparation at least a day or 2 days before. Start eating low carb and keto will be the best preparation that you can do. Keep your carbs less than 100 grams, less than 70 grams for at least a couple of days. And then it will be much easier to do fasting after that. If you have had a carb rich day the day before, then you will struggle with fasting. At that time, I just tell my clients that just go on and eat that day, but keep it all keto, and then try again the next day. And the second thing you can manage fasting is by drinking more coffee, if you're like me, because I love coffee. You can always drink black coffee. Definitely avoid sweeteners and sugar and cream in the coffee. You can have one cream or so for the day, but not throughout the day with the coffee. And green tea, that's the best option. If you can combine green tea, antioxidant effect with fasting, it's really a best way. And if you really want recommendations on my particular types of teas that I like to drink during fasting, which are really have also other anti-inflammatory properties, and send us a message. We'll be happy to share with you. The next thing is sleep. I think anybody who has not had a good night of sleep remembers how hungry or how their diet went haywire the next day. So sleep is really important. Make sure you have gotten your 8 to 9 hours of sleep at least the day before and had a good rest also. It's really important to maintain a good fasting time. And then keep yourself busy. So if you are busy and your mind is occupied, you're not thinking about the food, at least in the beginning. It gets easier as you start fasting all the time, and the more days you fast, it will get easier. But if you keep yourself busy with activities, either at work and also either staying outside the house or staying outside the kitchen, keeping the food out of sight, it makes it much easier. There is a thing called vision hunger that I teach my patients about, visual hunger that I teach my patients about. It's like once we see food, we think we need to eat food, right? Like you pass by a Starbucks or donut shop, we think we are hungry. So similar concept. So you want to keep the food out of sight and keep yourself busy and keep your mind occupied. And the last thing, but very important, is bone broth. Especially if this is a new for you to fast, and bone broth is a great way. If you can, it will help you even extend the fasting longer time too. And you can create your own bone broth, and also you can add a little bit of fat in there, maybe some ghee or some MCT oil in that such. It will also keep it more satisfied. And you can even add some pinch of Himalayan pink salt, which will also improve your blood pressure and any kind of fatigue. It helps with that too. So there you go. Those are the few things you can do to manage hunger while fasting. So the next question is, what is the best way to break a fast? So let's see. I hope I can share this slide with you all. Okay. I hope that shows up. There you go. Yes, I hope it shows up here. Yes. So the best way to break a fast, now if you're doing a shorter fast, by that I mean less than 18, 20 hours or so, you're okay. You can just break the fast by eating your meal or a snack or so. But this is especially important if if you have been fasting for a longer time, then I would highly suggest that you kind of break the fast more gently, especially if you're fasted for more than 24 hours or so. Start with first by drinking a glass of water, so that you're calming your stomach down. And I always start with eating a handful of nuts like macadamia or walnuts, and that also kind of brings you some flavor to the mouth, and everything tastes really good after a long fast. So start with gently, by eating a little bit of nuts, so you get the stomach juices going and you get the mouth juices and everything going, so you're not kind of being in a rush and overwhelming the digestive system at one time. And the next thing is, I think the best option is always to end your fast with a salad. I like a tomato and cucumber salad, or any light salad will work. So start with the salad first, and then if you, especially if you have fasted longer time, I tell people go easy on the protein. So maybe a fist size of or palm of your hand, chicken or any meat that you want as a protein source. So start with that, and then eat that way. So that can be your meal. And you can, if you have the appetite to eat more, again go with any of non-starchy vegetables cooked in healthy fats like butter and ghee will be also a great idea. So especially a lot of times we notice that on the first day, the first meal after fast, you really can't eat too much. So it's okay to keep it light. But the next day or the meal after, I think the next day you notice that you're more hungry. So that day I tell all my clients to kind of, you can eat more, you can add more calories and eat more protein and fat on the second day if you can't eat it on the first day. But always don't try to push yourself too much to eat a big meal after a long fast, because that can make people throw up, and you're going to be uncomfortable the rest of the day. So have you heard of this phrase called hangry? It's when a person is hungry and also gets angry at the same time. Those of you guys who have joined me, please, thank you for joining me, and go ahead and enter in the comments. What's your favorite vegetable to eat? I'm trying to get a poll here and find out what everyone likes. So the concept of hangry is when a person is hungry and angry at the same time. I'm sure we all have witnessed some of those people. I used to be one of those people until I realized that hunger was the cause. So if you're getting to that point, then maybe break your fast a little bit early, or at least have a light snack or a green tea or so that you're not going off the rail here, and you can still maintain your fast, or maybe start with a light snack or a protein shake or something like that. But as you start doing fasting longer and longer periods of time, it gets easier and you don't have hangry episodes anymore. All right, so the next question is, can we exercise in a fasted state? All right, let me share that slide with you. So yes, exercise is pretty much safe. Depends on what exercise and what's your condition. So first thing I tell my clients is, like, if you have never done exercise, then this is not the time to go and join and like a high intensity exercise class, or go and do a moderate aerobics class or anything like that. First thing is, first make sure you're cleared with your doctor, okay, to exercise. And the second thing is, start slow. And especially if you have, again, if you're on diabetic medications that are insulin that can lower your blood sugar, that's a big concern. So because with exercise, your sugar levels tend to drop more. So you are at a more risk for low blood sugar. So you have to watch out for that. And again, in the beginning, when you start exercising and fasting together, you might struggle a little bit, because our body is so much used to working on glucose as a base, as a burner for energy, that we are trying to use fat for fat burning for energy. So that adaptation will take time. You call it a fat adaptation, so that will take time. So take it slow, maybe start with a gentle walk or so, and then as you get used to being in ketosis and fasting longer and longer time, then you can add more higher levels or intensity of exercise. And again, watch for low blood sugar also, because if your blood pressure is low, that can make people pass out or so. So you definitely need to drink a little bit of a salty water or a pickle juice, or some of those things will be a good addition. Now, guys, if you like our content and feel like it's helpful to you, and if you have friends interested to do intermittent fasting, please share it with your friends. And also, everybody like and follow our page. I want to bring more of this content to all of you that we practice, and want to share and get you all started on your own weight loss and health journeys. And there's some more concepts I want to talk about in terms of fasting itself. So those are some of the risks with the exercise during fasting, and some things to keep in mind. But there are a lot more benefits with fasting and exercise. So first thing is, you're going to start increasing your fat burning, right? So our liver kind of stores a kind of a fat called glycogen, which is there for at least 48 hours or so once you start fasting. So they usually encourage anybody who starts fasting, kind of the first 2 days is like when you're still using glucose as a burning for energy. So after that, whatever exercise you do, it is mostly by the fat burning metabolism, and adaptation. So the more you do with fasting, and the more if you add on exercise to it, it's better. You are able to adapt your body, and your body gets more metabolic flexibility. By that, I mean your body will get used to burning, switch between fats and carbs as fuel as you need to. And also, there's also studies showing that there may be some increased autophagy, which is like cellular cleansing that can happen during fasting. And definitely your insulin sensitivity and insulin resistance goes down, and your blood sugar levels start improving, because your muscles are uptaking all the glucose that you're during exercise. So those are some of the benefits. And let's go to the next one here. Continuing with the benefits, there is also a concept called, there's also some studies which show that there is increased levels of human growth hormone and IGF-1 when you're fasting. So especially with the longer fasting, around 72 hours mark or so, people do notice some human growth hormone levels and IGF, and especially those who are trying to build more muscle, they tend to exercise more towards the end of their fasting period. So this has been shown in some, I think, some animal studies or so far. And aerobic exercise, and any exercise in general, makes you feel good, and it also, exercise can help decrease appetite and also cravings in general. And obviously your fitness will improve too when you start exercising more, and you can preserve muscle mass because of the growth hormone and IGF levels being high. So I think that's all I had for you guys. Let me take a look here. So I do have a little bit of action plan for you guys. So let's see. My action plan for you all is, so definitely, after you have watched both videos, anybody can start doing intermittent fasting. You can, first step is start by eating low carb and keto. And that is really the important first, because if you're not eating low carb already, by that I mean if you're not eating less than 100 grams of carbs, it's going to be really hard to start fasting. So first step is start eating low carb, and if you're doing keto, perfect, then definitely add on intermittent fasting there. It will help you to accelerate your weight loss, and also helps with autoimmune conditions and such. I like a few apps that I recommend most commonly to all my patients, which are Zero app or Body Fast app. So try any of those apps and see what you like. And it also helps you to document your number of hours in there. So you can say I ate dinner at this time and I'm eating breakfast at this time. So you don't have to remember or write it down. You just enter in the app and you can see for a period of a week where you're standing and how many hours you're fasting, and it will give you an idea. They also have some coached fasting and stuff like that in the apps too that you have to pay for. If you have never done fasting, then first start with the make sure you're fasting at least 12 hours a day at least, right? We can accumulate 8 hours during the night time when we sleep, and also maybe skip the breakfast a little bit later and start by at least doing 12 hours a day of fasting. Once you get there, then you can build it up to 16 hours of fasting. Even if you can build up to 16 hours fasting, it's still a good way to kind of for a healthy living. It also still helps you. It has benefits on its own for insulin resistance and for added weight loss. And then the last but not least, always enjoy the freedom from meal planning and kitchen. A lot of my clients tell me, and my personal experience, that once you start fasting, you're not thinking about the meals that you have to eat or the choices you have to make, and definitely less cooking, less shopping. You save money, and you don't have to be in the kitchen. It gives you a lot more freedom and also a lot more mental clarity, which a lot of people enjoy on that. Okay, so there you guys go. There you go. So again, guys, if you feel this content has been useful to you, please share with your friends and do like and follow us on Facebook. And if anybody is looking for a recipe for my own bone broth mix that I use, please post in the comments below. We'll send it to you, or you can send me a private message too. And don't forget to write down your favorite vegetable here. And I do want to mention about next week. So coming up next week, I think this might be a great topic: easy ways to curb sugar cravings during your diet. And I'm asked this all the time in my clinic. So hopefully I can share some inputs and some tips for all of you also to help with your sugar cravings. I hope this is useful to you. Again, don't forget to post your vegetable in the comment section. Take care, everybody. Good night.